like sports? Do you like beer? Do you love sports and beer? Then you're exactly where you need to be. This is the Huebs Views and Brews show on 1252 Sports Chicago. Cheers.
Welcome on in, Huebs Views and Brews, for this Monday night. Hope you're all having a wonderful time. And yeah, the snow is a nice little thing. They told us it was coming, but after being almost 70 on Saturday, it's just Chicago weather, right? Not a problem. And so it'll be nice the next couple days. And it's always beer drinking time. And we will discuss a lot of beer today with the guys and gals from First Forest Brewing. We'll do that around 7:30. Lots of sports to talk about. FatMike's going to jump on with me in a few minutes, and we're going to talk about a lot of things going on. And it's great because I used to love doing, when I did radio, I loved being the first show of the morning. When I worked with Mike Murphy for 5 years and Mike North for 4 years, I loved it that we were the first people on in the morning and got to talk about everything that happened the night before. We were the first people to do it. It's kind of nice to do Monday shows because we get to talk about what happened over the weekend. And the Bulls are playing right now, losing to Philadelphia. Could be on their way to their fifth straight loss. We'll talk a little bit about that and some other things. But I like doing shows on Monday. It's cool. It's nice to get it done. Sometimes I wish I was doing them earlier in the day because by 7 o'clock, games are underway and things like that. Maybe in the future, we'll work some things out or do something. We get Mike's been busy with a lot of stuff. We also have an appearance coming up for the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament. We'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. Before I crack my beer for the show, and I've been doing it pretty much each and every week since the box of chocolates came out, but that gives you a hint of what I'm going to have. But I just wanted to let you know, last Friday, I was honored for about the, seventh time, eighth time, to help MC the Franklin Park Fire Department's St. Baldrick's Day event. Okay. And they raised money for pediatric cancer. The Franklin Park Fire Department have been doing this for 16 years. And I've been able to help them out, did some live emceeing at their events, which used to be at the Hanging Gardens over there on, I want to say First Avenue North in the city. And it was great. 400 or 500 people in there raising money. And they had all kinds of things going throughout the time. Now, the last couple of years, we've had to do it virtually because of COVID and everything else. Now we are hoping that next year we'll be able to do it live again, this time in Elk Grove Village, and really looking forward to it. But on Friday, I had a chance to do it on Friday night. They raised a ton of money again. And let's see here. Their 2022 campaign for raising money for pediatric cancer, St. Baldrick's Foundation, they raised $65,759.60. Unbelievable total when you look at that. They are not getting this from big corporate sponsors. They're getting this from just people hitting the streets, talking to friends, talking to people. And one of the amazing things was that the leading individual was a kid whose brother has cancer. He had gone away. He was in remission. The cancer has come back. And this kid and his brother raised Julian Meyer, along with his brother Gabriel, who has cancer. They raised $11,500. Absolutely amazing. It's wonderful. The people there are great over at the Franklin Park Fire Department and all the people that have been able to do this on a yearly basis. I cannot wait till next year. It's going to be March 3rd. They've already got the date planned. They've got the space and everything else. So I cannot wait. But the St. Baldrick's Day event was a wonderful event, and I'm really, really honored each and every year to be a part of it. Just great people and absolutely wonderful. By the way, I said how much they raised this year, $65,000. In the 16 years of the event, listen to this, they have raised $1.9 million, $1,986,767. Truly amazing. So I'm really happy to be part of that as they continue to try to raise money. And we had a doctor on the show who talked about where the money goes for pediatric cancer. And he's, they're working on trying to get a solution, as they do for all cancers. And none of them are easy, but all cancers are sad. And most people know my story with my wife passing away from ovarian cancer. But there's nothing sadder than kids with cancer. And you can imagine me up on stage trying to talk about this when these kids are coming up and they're living their life and they're having a great life, and it's very, very difficult. But it's so cool to be a part of this. And they ask me each and every year. And I always look. The phone rings. I know what it is. And I usually look for the first Friday in March to keep that open so I can join them. Got to open my beer before I bring in Mike. This is the last of the box of chocolates, okay? 8 different breweries put together the box of chocolates. This is the Honey Almond Nougat. This is done from Miskatonic and Skeleton Key. Now, I had this one actually the day I picked up the 4-pack because I went over to Skeleton Key, talked to Paul, and grabbed the 4-pack, and I did try this one. It's very, very good, very tasty. I enjoyed it then. I saved it for the last one. So I had the vanilla cream. I had the chocolate cream. Really, really good beers. Brother Chimp, Riverlands, all the breweries that got involved in this, all wonderful stuff. So this is the last one I have. I was going to pull out a Goldfinger Pills or something like that, but, I'm going to talk about Goldfinger a little bit later. I had a chance to go there last week. I could just sit and drink this the rest of the show. It wouldn't be very enjoyable for everybody else, but I'd love the heck out of it. But right now, let's bring in our guy, the guy that's responsible for 1252. So blame him or appreciate him, either one. Mike, what's going on?
What's going on, Freddie? Thank you for having me again tonight, man. I appreciate it.
No, you know what? We had a good time Saturday night. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the nice thing, when you first asked me to do this, the one thing you and I sat around and we just bullshit about sports all the time.
Right.
And we were doing that on Saturday. We're watching the Chicago Fire. We're still waiting 2 games, 180 minutes.
For a goddamn goal.
Still waiting for a goal. And we had that on. And you and Paul Ivnick from Nik and Ivy were going back and forth because Duke was playing NC State. Before we even get to anything, and I heard them mention it, Tony Kornheiser mentioned it a little bit today, kind of without ripping them, but I can rip them. I don't work for ESPN anymore.
Okay.
That ESPN is such damn idiots. Every year during college basketball, they schedule games to go on their air 2 hours apart. We're going to have a game on at 11 and at 1 and at 3 and at 5. They know that college basketball is never over in 2 hours, especially the way they play nowadays. All the foul shooting and everything else. It was ridiculous.
Especially in March, okay?
Yeah.
Every game is a dramatic game. No matter what happens in the month of March, everybody's gearing up and getting ready for the tournament here. Teams that are on the bubble, on the cusp of making it in, are going to play their asses off. And that's what, I mean, it's a big thing. This month is one of my favorite months of the entire year. Not only because it's my birthday, but March Madness takes place during this. And what people don't understand is March Madness isn't just the tournament.
No,
it's the weeks leading up to the tournament too. These teams that get in, that are a viable team to hop in and get on the bubble and squeak their way into the 64. It's amazing. And it just goes to show, again, on Saturday, Duke UNC, you would have had to have ESPN Plus and tune into it off ESPN, off ESPN Plus, because went to overtime. Michigan State, Michigan and went overtime.
Oh, no, it was a different game we were watching.
Yes. The game,
CC game.
Arkansas.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Tennessee, Arkansas, right.
And the game goes to overtime, and we're sitting there, and you know that ESPN wanted to have the full pregame and everything else and the build-up to Coach K's last game. By the time they split the screens and got rid of the split screen, kind of like they had exactly what you and I have right now for the people that are watching us. They had UNC Duke on one, and they had the other game on the other one. And it's crazy. They do this, and it happens all the time. It used to happen when they did a lot of soccer games. They would always have that. One game doesn't end, and then they'd say, well, you can watch this here. No, not if you DVR'd it. You couldn't do it because your DVR doesn't just jump around.
Right, and I do want to. It was Texas. It was Texas and Kansas.
That's right.
Overtime. I apologize, not Tennessee, Arkansas. But
and damn Kansas had to win.
Right, and the The tournament, all these games, the last 3 weeks have been awesome. I mean, if you're not watching college basketball right now, you're really missing out because every game has meant something. It's been awesome.
Well,
it's been great.
I tuned in yesterday. I was over at Linda's house. We were watching. She's a big fan of HGTV, so we were watching it. I had no problem. I sit and watch HGTV as long as she wanted to. Yeah, and then I said, let me just flip over because I knew that Loyola was on, and Loyola was playing their championship game for the MVC, and I turn over. They're up by 8. I go back. They're up by 4. 2 minutes ago, we watched the end, and they were able to make free throws. They stopped Drake, and they ended up going to the tournament. Third time in the last 4 years that they win the conference tournament. So Loyola's going, which is very, very cool to see them going again. And then Illinois yesterday, they beat Iowa, and they get a share of the first place. They're the top seed. And this week you got the Big Ten tournament. All the biggies start pretty much this week. Okay, yes. All the big tournaments, the SEC and all the other stuff, the ACC, the Big Ten, they all get underway this week, and there'll be a lot of great games going on. Illinois is a team that can actually go far. Gonzaga is still on top. The ratings came out again today. Gonzaga, Arizona, Baylor, Auburn, Kentucky, Kansas, Duke, and then you have Villanova and Purdue and Tennessee are tied for 9th. Then Wisconsin 12, Illinois 16, Iowa is 24th. But it is a great time of year. And you were asking me because I used to watch college basketball religiously. I'd watch the Bulls and college basketball. I used to love at the beginning of the season when they have the coaches versus cancer tournament. Then they would have the ACC against the Big Ten. And I used to love because Indiana, Notre Dame would play early in the season, things like that. But once they had the one and dones, every year you'd have a complete different team. Oh, he is going to talk soccer. So anyway, one of the callers or viewers says Mike wants to talk soccer. We'll get a little bit of it, but anyway. But once the one and done start, it's so hard to follow. There's so many teams. There's so many players. Oh my God, it's just so hard to. Like you said, the week before it was 7 upsets. Out of 10 games.
7 of the top 9, 7 of the top 9, not top 10.
Right.
7 of the top 9 lost, which was honestly, without question, the best week of college basketball I've watched in 15 years.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Every single game was an upset. But there's games on tonight. Like you got the West Coast tournament starting off tonight. You got Gonzaga going up against San Fran. That starts tonight at 8. I hope San Fran beats them because Gonzaga is a fucking fraud. All right, you got a bunch of Summit League tournament. They are. That guy,
bunch of tall, skinny white guys.
That guy with the mustache, he needs an elbow to the teeth. Timmy, I can't stand that guy. All right, but there's so many games on, and they all mean something. Like St. Mary's tonight against Santa Clara. I mean, there's so many good games. Like it's impossible. Like if you're a sports fan and if you like sports and you like competition, any single one of these games, you're going to be completely enthralled by. Like it's going to blow you off. It's going to blow your seat. It's awesome. Every single one of these games has real meaning to it because these teams are fighting and prying and trying to get their name into the big tourney, and it's phenomenal. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It's great. So there's more games going on today. We'll be talking a lot about that, and coming up let's see, today is the 6th, 7th?
Today is the 7th. So in 10 days.
10 days. Yep.
Day.
We got back-to-back events at Game On out at the Megaplex in Homer Glen.
Yes, that's going to be great, guys. So for you guys that are sitting here watching, hanging out with us and farting around watching Fred's Huebs Views and Brews, drinking beers and talking sports, we are going to be live at Game On Bar and Grill, which is a bar that's inside the Megaplex out in Homer Glen, right off of Bell Road. It's 15301 South Bell. Great bar, and it's amazing. They have, I don't know, I want to say like 12 indoor basketball courts, and they have like pickleball and indoor soccer field and this and everything. But the best part about it, they got really good food and a bar. So you can sit there and play basketball after you're done. Go have, I don't know, anywhere between 9 and 35 beers. That's where I usually range. All right, you go there, you have a good time, eat a bunch of good food. They have the best beef sandwich I've ever had in my life. But we're going to be there doing a live show for the tournament. We're tipping off 12:52 for the NCAA tournament. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, Schuster will be there along with you on Thursday, the 17th. Yes. I'll be out there with you on the 18th, and we'll be there from 10 o'clock on. There'll be games going on. They basically start at like 11 o'clock, and they go all day long. There'll definitely be some Uber calling on that day, I think. That makes a lot of sense. I may get a ride there and Uber home because, there's no way it's going to be no matter how long you sit there. I tell this story all the time. When I work with Mike North, we went to Las Vegas for the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament. And when you're in Vegas, the show in Chicago started at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, whichever, depending on which year. I can't remember that year. I think we started at 6 Chicago time. That's 4 Vegas time, which meant that we got together at 2:30 to do show prep. Okay, so as we were going down to do show prep, we were at Caesar's Palace, and all these hot girls and guys all dressed the same with jeans and shirts hanging out of their, regular button-down shirts with the things out, the tails out. They're all standing in line to get into the club. We're going into the sports book in a little poker room to do our radio show. But one time we went to a place called Green Valley Ranch. It's outside. I don't know if it's in Henderson. I can't remember exactly where it's at. But after our show was over, the first game started. We sat down in the bar. We drank until the last game ended. I had 24 Guinness that day. It was a March 16th. I had 24 Guinness. I kept count. And the next day I got off the elevator looking at North, and I just shook my head. He goes, "How you feeling?" I go, "My head's killing me." And I said, "But we're gonna plow on through." So the NCAA tournament, a great time. And now with gambling, and we'll bring up a lot of gambling in a minute, yes. But now with gambling, this makes it even more interesting. Plus, Illinois has allowed a lot of the other ones like FanDuel and BetMGM and stuff. You can now register online.
The bars
in Illinois,
everything,
yes,
it's
all of
over
them.
The place, yes,
right. So I'm trying to figure out. I already have Bet Rivers and PointsBet. I won on Scotty Scheffler yesterday. I won $40 on Scotty Scheffler winning the golf tournament.
There you go.
See?
All right,
you can win money. Golf is fun to bet on. Because the odds are always pretty big.
I love golf. That's my favorite Sunday of all time. I guess me and UK and Ben Israel are going to Hooters afterwards for the after hour specials. Ben, you let me know. You're buying though, because I'm broke.
Anyway, there's our basketball stuff. The Bulls are losing. They've got 18 games left, 8 of their next 10 on the road, 10 of their next 12 on the road. And you know what? I know there are injuries that have hurt the Bulls. They just don't have enough. But I just want to see them get in the playoffs, keep these guys around for another year or so. I love watching Dosunmu play for the Bulls.
I love Ayo. Did you see that pass the other night that he fed Zach LaVine?
Yep.
Please, yep. I mean, all right, guys. I'm sitting here at my house the other night. I forget what night was it. Thursday, Friday night. They're playing. I forget who the hell they were playing. The Miami.
Milwaukee on Friday. Yeah.
That give to Zach LaVine was that no look pass.
Yep.
I mean, they were already down. The game was already out of hand. But that no look pass, and I looked over to my buddy next to me. I was like, dude, do you think once Lonzo Ball comes back healthy, who do you think should be the starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls?
I know.
Because, I mean, that's how good this kid is. Now, although Lonzo is great at defense, and this kid's upside is so good. Io's upside is so big.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's great.
Is so high.
Yeah, it's great phenomenal for them and the new management and all that stuff. It's good to have them there. But right now they're in 4th in the Eastern Conference. They're going to drop down after losing today if they do. I think they're down by 6 or 7. But we'll see. Hopefully get in the playoffs, play well, see what happens. Let's get really quickly to baseball because I want to make sure we get our beer talking pretty much on time. No agreement yet. Lockout day number 96. But they've gotten together and they've agreed. The Players Association said they would agree to 3 rules changes in 2023. And they are the pitch clock. But the pitch clock is bizarre. It's 14 seconds when there's nobody on base, 19 seconds when there's someone on base, instead of just a 20-second pitch clock all the time. Now, they were breaking it down on MLB Tonight earlier today. It's strange. I like it. It goes fast. It goes faster. There's no reason for guys to be walking around for no apparent reason on the mound after they get the ball back. That's one of them. The bigger bases is just stupid. I'm sorry. bigger bases. Okay, that makes no sense to me. Someone will have to explain it. And then banning the shifts. That's just every left-handed hitter in baseball doesn't want him to ban shifts.
I had this
or wants him to ban shifts. I'm sorry.
I had this talk with Paul today, banning the shift. And he's like, well, the shift didn't start until like 8 years ago. No, Paul. I'm fairly certain that Ted Williams had a shift on him 90% of the time and still fucking hit 400.
Right.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
You're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. Like, get out of town. Like, Paul knows his sports. Paul is our guy, Nik and Ivy, Paul. He knows his stuff. But you're going to sit there and tell me that Ted Williams didn't have a shift on Tony Gwynn, didn't have a shift on him. All right. All those guys had shifts on them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Just because Joey Gallo and Kyle Schwarber and a couple of these guys can't get base hits because of the shift. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're talking about Joey Gallo, a guy who barely hits his body weight in the MLB right now. The most walks and the most strikeouts with a dog shit batting average has the potential right now, if they ban the shift, to be a 400 hitter.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. Are you for real?
I know.
I mean, it's a part of the game, Fred. It's a part of the game.
It is. Yeah, learn how to hit the ball. And one other thing, I'm starting to think there's going to be a May 1st start in baseball. They still haven't done anything yet. May 1st would be a good time. They lose all the April games. And with the April games gone, they don't have to worry about cold weather. They don't have to worry about any of the other stuff. So that'll be fine. Right now, the Dodgers, Mariners, and A's, they lost 6 home games. The Tigers, Yankees, and Giants, they lost 6 road games, which means the Yankees were going to have more home games than road games, which at the end of the year is going to play out to a point where it could really change some things. But I love baseball. I know you love baseball.
Yes.
It just doesn't seem like it's going to be when we want it to.
You said what? May 1st? You said
June
1st? May 1st?
May 1st.
I'm looking more like June 1st.
Are you really?
Yeah, really.
See,
I mean, that's where I'm at right now. And honestly, I'd be surprised if it's by June 1st, because one thing that I've realized that these players, they don't want to play in the cold. They don't want to play in Chicago on a day like today.
Oh, screw them.
You know, but I know I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same exact boat, but they don't want to do that. But then, okay, so why are we playing 162 games then?
Because that's what baseball does.
What does it though? Like,
it's 162 games.
Those okay. So I know that you got your beer guys on here, but I got a question to ask you. Why are we playing 162 games if each division can be made up in 120?
Because you got to play other teams too. Your home fans want to be able to see the other teams. You want to be able to see the Yankees come to town. The Cubs want to be able to see the Giants and the Dodgers come to town. Not for a long period of time.
Is that really selling tickets though?
Oh yeah,
I'm stuck regardless.
Well, now they will.
These divisions in 120 games.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you can if you just play divisional play. But yeah, it's got to change.
Something's got to change. So
here's what's going to happen. If you do this, the ticket prices are going to go to the point where no one's going to be able to afford to go to the games. And then what are they going to do
now anyways?
Well,
I don't.
They'll still go.
I'm a diehard Cub fan.
They'll still go.
Cub fan. You ain't going to catch my fat ass in one of them tight little seats.
They'll still go. Well, see, the bleachers
on my couch.
Yeah, I agree with you. My couch is the best seat for all sports. I try not to go to any right now. 2 things real quickly. Reports are the Ricketts family is interested in buying Chelsea football because Chelsea, the English Premier League team, is owned by a Russian millionaire, and he's going to apparently give the team up.
Our guy Mike Hughes, this is pretty good, Fred. Look at this one. Our guy Mike Hughes, who has his own show on the network.
Yes.
Mike on the mic says, as someone who works at Wrigley Field at 4 a.m. in March, please take your time. No rush. This weather is ass. And
yeah.
I get it, but I mean, man, I really want baseball back.
Well, see, the thing is, baseball, I'm old. I talk you all, I'll be 65 this year. And baseball used to start the second week of April. You start April 12th. And they still played a lot of games. Now they start in March. It's ridiculous. They used to schedule double headers. Now, the owner's got to get each and every one of the, you can't schedule double headers. You can't give away a gate for one game. Yeah, you can. Yes, you can. That's just money in your pocket. All the players, you're just like the NFL. When they get their check for the broadcasts, they're paid. Their players are paid. They've got that money already. And everything they do from parking to concessions to everything else, that's just money in the owners' pockets.
Right.
The owners are making money hand over fist. It's
Right.
crazy. One last thing, because we want to get to it. Well, two things really quickly. Combine numbers. All week long, we heard about a guy that's 350 or something running a fast 40.
374 pounds.
I don't care what those guys run the 40 in. I don't care what wide receivers run the 40 in. You know what I care about? Can the wide receiver catch the ball, run routes, and get off the line of scrimmage? Because if they can't do those three things, I don't care how fast they run.
Right.
It doesn't matter how Ronaldo Nehemiah, the Niners had Ronaldo Nehemiah on the team. He was a track athlete for the Olympics. Willie Gault from the Bears. He ran deep, and once in a while he would catch a ball. You need guys that can catch the ball in traffic and go. That's why when we watched Cincinnati play this year, it was so much fun watching Chase.
Jamar Chase.
That was fun because he could catch the ball. Remember all the questions about Jamar Chase early in the year? Can he catch the ball? Can he catch the ball? Nobody talked about that.
Word for word verbatim. I did. He said word for word verbatim that he was having trouble picking up the football while it was in the air without the white collegiate stripe on the football.
Yeah.
And yet the guy is a phenomenal wide receiver because Joe Burrow's throwing him the ball. And
he didn't seem to have much of a problem.
Right, yeah.
Now, the Calvin Ridley banned for the season. He bet $1,500. He made a 3-team, a 5-team, and an 8-team parlay on the Falcons. I don't know how he did that. If it's just on the Falcons, I don't know, whatever. But he was not with the team because he was out for mental health issues. He took himself out for mental health issues. He comes out and says, listen, I don't have a gambling problem. It doesn't matter. They're not worried about you having a gambling problem. They're worried about you gambling on the game.
Right.
And how many times when we watch a game do people say, that game was fixed, they wanted them to get in, they wanted the Rams to be playing in the Super Bowl at their home stadium. We talk about it all the time. That's what the NFL wants to avoid.
Yep. And listen, obviously he does have mental health issues if he's betting on the Falcons. I mean, what a terrible team. Why would you bet on the Falcons? I mean, that's obvious.
You're right.
Are you kidding me? The Falcons I'm sorry. The Falcons blow. They're terrible. Well, obviously, he has mental health issues. One, he's not playing with the team. Two, the Falcons are terrible. So if you're betting on the Falcons to win anything, especially in a parlay, he just lost a lot of money. That's all it is.
Yeah. If you're just tuning in, you're waiting to hear from the guys from First Forest Brewing. You're going to hear from them in a minute. We're not going to shorten it. It's a podcast. We can go as long as we want.
Yes,
so I'm sorry.
We can go all night. We can go all night.
The last thing I want to talk about is Saturday.
Oh boy.
I called you Saturday at about 4:00. And I said, are you and Nik and Ivy? You said, yeah. You said, I got done changing my wife's flat tire. Yes. I'm back. So I went to Nik and Ivy. There was a party going on there for Paul's wife's uncle, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. And it was great. There was a lot of people there.
Candy. I stole a bowl of candy.
If I see one more Hershey's Kiss in the next day or two,
listen, guys. When I have a few beers down my gullet, this is what happens. Fat Mike turns into a party animal, and it's impossible to be tamed. I stole a bowl of candy from an innocent party in the corner of the brewery.
Yes, you did.
And I ate like half the bowl of candy.
Yeah, between York peppermint patties and Hershey's Kisses. I mean, I had more chocolate. It would kill diabetics with the amount of chocolate I had.
I left that party looking like Ron Santo. I had one leg. It was on a peg. I had a hair piece that was on fire. It was terrible. It was miserable.
It was, yeah. But it was fun. And then we went next door or 2 doors down.
And then not only that, but I come from a big cop family.
Which is amazing because
I'm the one that breaks the law. I'm a black sheep, Fred. I'm a black sheep.
Yes, you are.
You got to give me that, okay? So I have two brothers that are part of the order of police, and it just so happened that my oldest brother's local police department was doing a bar crawl, and I knew everybody down there. I mean, I knew everybody. And I'm threatening to beat people up. These guys are police officers, and they all want to wrestle me for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I mean,
you told one guy's wife. You told one guy's wife who's pregnant. That's okay. You can do the shot. The baby won't be affected. And I'm saying, I gotta go. I gotta leave now.
Look at me. I turned out fine. And then she just looks at me like this guy's an asshole. So I mean,
oh my God.
And it's, you know, what's hysterical about this entire situation is the next morning, my brother gives me a call. He's like, yeah, I heard you ran into everybody at Romeo. Yeah. I'm sorry, at the local police department. I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah. He's like, they all think you're hysterical. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he's like, that's one thing about us is that the party follows us.
Yeah,
the party always follows us.
It was fun.
Even though I'm an asshole, I have that infectious personality where the party always just comes with us. You know what I mean?
What's the name of the other bar we went to after Nik and Ivy?
Jackie's Tap. Jackie's Tap. It's a local, good little watering hole. They have, and I will say this: Paul has great beer over at Nik and Ivy. But on a hot summer day, there is no bar that I've ever been to in my entire life that has a colder beer than Jackie's Tap in downtown Lockport. It is a half a degree away from being a fucking slushy. I mean, that every beer you get from there in the summertime is a half a degree away from being a beer slushy. That's why I love that place. It's
well, I mean, after drinking craft beers at Nik and Ivy, I ended up having a Sam Adams cold snap. And then I got on my way at an appropriate time. So that was fun. Let's take a break. Let's hear from Paul about Nik and Ivy and all the other sponsors. And when we come back, we're going to talk to Jordan. We're going to talk to James. We're going to talk to Heather from First Forest Brewing. What's going on with them? And we'll discuss that when we come back after this.
All right, Fred, thank you so much for having me on. I'll see you soon.
My pleasure always.
Take care.
Hello, this is Paul from Nik and Ivy Brewing Company. We are located at 1026 South State Street in historic downtown Lockport, Illinois. We are very excited to be partnering up with the FatMike ChicagoSports show, as well as the 1252 brand, because we are one of the few Chicagoland breweries that embrace sports and sports culture. Come in for a fresh brewed beer made right here in Lockport while catching the game of your favorite team. Stay for the live music that we have booked every weekend, or just come for a cozy atmosphere to enjoy a good conversation with a friend, loved one, or complete stranger. Nik and Ivy makes you feel right at home no matter what the occasion is. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for Nik and Ivy Brewing Company. Visit our website for our up-to-date tap list or to go shopping on our online store at nikivybrewing.com. That's Nikivy brewing.com. Come in today for fresh brewed beer born and raised in Lockport, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Darren, licensed real estate broker with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group in Homer Glen. Are you looking to buy or sell? Have you been disappointed in the past? The Jonathan Darren team with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group focuses on providing you with a concierge level of service during the process of buying or selling. We are a service-oriented team with a fresh and professional approach to selling real estate. Our goal is to combine knowledge, skills, and passion to exceed our clients' expectations, and most of all, we truly care. We are a knowledgeable real estate team focused on offering expertise and innovative solutions for our clients. The Jonathan Darren team has 5 full-service real estate brokers and a dedicated full-time marketer servicing all of Chicagoland. We will customize a detailed plan around your timeline for a sale, purchase, investment, estate, or other needs. Real estate transactions can be stressful, but don't need to be. Let us handle it for you. Visit our website, homesbyjdt.com, or call 708-308-1938 today. Expect better in real estate. Choose the Jonathan Darren team.
Megaplex Sports Complex is a 78,000 square foot center filled with hardwood and turf. They have baseball rentals with batting cages, softball, soccer, lacrosse, gymnastics, cheerleading, cornhole, basketball, volleyball, and pickleball. It also features a bar and grill with the best pizza and beef sandwiches around. They cater to events such as birthdays, graduations, corporate parties, as well as memorabilia shows. Check them out at Megaplex Sports Complex, 15301 South Bell Road in Homer Glen, 708-966-4210. Cannot wait to get out to Game On Bar and Grill at the Megaplex on the 17th and 18th of March for the NCAA tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come on out, see us. We'll be doing shows throughout the day there at the Megaplex. Now, as a guy who loves beer and craft beer, I'm only one person. So I can get to a lot of places, and I kind of like to stay close to home because you have a beer or two. And I got a rule I can only have two and then get back home, or flights, depending on it. So I try to stop at as many places as I can. When I was working, I would stop on a Saturday. I'd say, I'm going to stop here. So one day working, I stopped at Blue Nose Brewing, which was in Hodgkins, and had a flight of beer. And then I went to Imperial Oak in Willowbrook and had another flight of beer. Thank goodness they had a taco truck there that day. And that was wonderful. Those were nice. So I had not been able to get out to First Forest Brewing, which took over where Blue Nose Brewing was. And now First Forest Brewing is not there. So to find out more about what First Forest Brewing is doing right now, we have the people from First Forest Brewing on. We've got Jordan, James, and Heather. And how's everyone doing today?
Fantastic. Doing
Very
good. Doing good.
You know, and I was telling this, I told the story, and I remember going to Blue Nose, and then shortly after that, I know they were gone, and First Forest was there. Someone give me the background on what happened, how all that happened before we get any further into First Forest.
Yeah, I was part of Blue Nose, and I ended up wanting to do my own thing, which is First Forest, which was a long dream of mine. So we knew the building was going to be up for sale about a year from when I took over all the equipment and started First Forest in that location. So Heather came on, got a good plan as we knew we were coming towards the end to go distribution as we take our time now to look for our next permanent home. But it was a great jumping off point. Already had the brew system set up, had tanks so we could get some of our first beers out. Planned slowly before we totally closed, moved those tanks to where they are now. We've got equipment at Whiskey Hill Brewing in Westmont and Noon Whistle, Lombard in Naperville. So we'll continue producing out of there. And yeah, it's been pretty enjoyable. Heather's been doing awesome. And that's kind of the long story short.
Yeah, we'll get to James in a second also, but I want to talk to Heather real quickly because I remember first time I saw Heather, I walked into Prestige Liquors and Prestige, and Dylan was smart enough to put a tap room there in the back of Prestige, and I went in and Heather was there, and I was talking to Heather and Greg and everybody who worked there, Bill Walker and everybody else, and that was an awesome place. And then one day I find out Heather's leaving and going to First Forest. And Heather, I mean, it was nice over Prestige. You got to meet a lot of people, but what made you want to make the move and go on over to First Forest?
Yeah, so I've been in the craft beer industry for probably about 8 or 9 years. I had known Jordan before I think Blue Nose was even really established. I've known Jordan for a good amount of time. I worked at Imperial Oak when they first opened. I was there for the first 3 years at the original location. And then I had a husband, and then a baby, took some time off. And then I was working in the city for a little while, and I had won a gift card actually on the Chicago area microbreweries Facebook page to Prestige. And I'd never been there because Westmont's not really where I go. You kind of have a beer or two and you stay close to home. So I went there and I met Dylan, and I was like, this is kind of a nice place. And there were some brands that I had not tried before. And so I said, okay, well, are you guys ever looking for temporary help or fill-ins here and there? And Dylan's like, yeah. And then I got a text from him a couple days later saying, okay, we'll have you every Thursday and Saturday. And I was like, wait, fill-ins. So I was there for about almost a year and a half. I became the beer buyer. So I was getting a lot of samples from a lot of reps and things like that. And when Jordan came out with Reaper Repair, which was his first double IPA, I told him I really think he has something here. And that's when I think I kind of hounded him saying, I need to sell this for you. I
got super lucky with that. So I've got ideas. I've got, beers that I make. She was like, hey, what do you think you'll sell this for? I was like, I have no idea. She's like, let me help you out. And I said, I would appreciate it 100%. So I got very lucky coming in to Prestige, talking to her on a couple occasions, and kind of clicked with
I think it's a pretty symbiotic relationship. I get to work from home, but then also get to kind of do a lot of the like events and things like that, and some of the social networking. So it works out. But the easiest part is the beer. It sells itself. So pretty much go in and I say, if you try the beer, I guarantee I'll be back. So
I saw Heather at the Westmont Winter Beer Fest, and you guys had 2 beers there. All the people, I think there were 25 brewers. They had 2 beers apiece. You had the Bohemian Breakfast, and that's a beer that you make with Whiskey Hill, correct?
Correct.
Yes, we do. Yeah, Eric, awesome brewer. He's the head brewer over there. Him and I decided to make a collab stout. He makes phenomenal stuff. Everybody knows that, and we put our heads together a little bit. Spent 3 days for brewing one beer because it was there's so much grain. Turned out amazing though. I'm really happy with it. Him and I actually collabed and did a second collab with this beer through Heather with some Smuggler's Coffee, which tasted great this last weekend. So
that's awesome. And then the other one was the Dylan the Pilot, and that was an orange pale ale. And with all the other beers I'm tasting, that one stuck out to me at the Westmont Winter because it just jumped. You weren't expecting it, and the orange that you got was awesome. It was very, very tasty.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. That was sitting around smelling hops, smelling Motueka, thinking what would go good with it. Kind of an idea came, put it all together in the brew house, and it turned out I really enjoy it, and people seem to enjoy it. So super happy with that one. That'll be year-round for us.
Cool. And James, you're the guy that I don't know much about, other than before the show we were talking about where you guys grew up and stuff like that. So what do you do with the brewery?
Nobody knows a lot about me. I just gotta get in where I fit in. If they need help in the brew house that day, I'm there. If they need help canning, I'm there. If Heather's got accounts that she needs deliveries to, I'm there. I've known Jordan since the beginning of his last venture. We've done a couple of collaborations, a couple of benefits, a couple of sausage things. We've got a hot sauce coming out here pretty soon. James' nickname is the Bratweiler. This guy makes homemade brats that are delicious, mustard, hot sauce. We're doing
amazing.
Yeah. People say I don't talk very much, so James came here to kind of help me out.
Just to make sure that he didn't drop it off. The one beer you guys haven't talked about yet is this self-care. It was not made for Calvin Ridley. Although everybody needs a little bit of this. Maybe Fat Mike could drink 75 of these next weekend. Do a little self-care. But what's in that one? That's a triple Citra IPA that's done with the
Fat Mike needs brats.
Fat Mike does need brats, but it's done with the pellet. It's done with the cryo, and it's also done with the full spectrum. And it's a double hazy IPA. It's fantastic. It's my favorite one. It's a collaboration they did with a cool brewer over there at Foreign Exchange, Ricky Cervantes. So another great brewery.
Yeah, Ricky's a good guy. Him and I have collabed a couple times. Always have a great time, and things have been working out. So
the reason I support so much is he's brewing at I think the top of his game right now, better than he ever has, and he's doing a lot of cool things with other people that I really respect.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Ricky on too. I talked to him and hope to get him on a couple weeks from now in March because he does crank out some really, really great beer. And I don't have my list of what he had there, but he had something that was great at the Westmont Winter Beer Fest. I can't remember what it was now. I left my list.
Oh yeah, mango habanero triple IPA.
That's what it was. The mango habanero, because the mango got you in the mouth and the habanero got you in the neck. And it was, I told like 5 or 6 other people that I saw at the beer fest, and they went over there and they said, "You're exactly right." Yeah. They go, "It tastes mango." He goes, "Where's the habanero?" And they go, "There's the habanero." Yeah, it was great. Absolutely great.
My mind is like, I don't forget anything. So my poor husband always in trouble.
Well, and like I said, I know years ago, like I said, when I first started, before I brought you in, it's tough to go to all the breweries unless your name is John Bitterman or Chet Brett. Then you've been to all the breweries. You've been to each and every one of them.
Both great guys. Chet Brett makes me feel like I'm a child. He's towers over me. That guy's huge. John,
I know.
It's What's up, guys?
He has introduced me to so many of the craft brewers and things like that. And between him and Justin Maynard, who when I first got involved, he was the guy in charge of the Illinois Craft Brewers Guild. And so I got to meet him. He introduced me to Ryan Tucker from Goose Island, a lot of other people, and then with Vicky Reed. Between those three, I've met so many people, and that's what got me so interested and so involved, because a kid from Cicero moving out here to Downers, and I was drinking Miller Lite and then Guinness, and then when Tim started Urban Legend, I went there, and I was basically the first one in this area out here. Then Urban Legend became Mitts and Legends, and now it's Whiskey Hill, and they've all had their nice things. They've all had their Crispy Carl is the one that the Urban Legend did with Tim, and that was amazing.
What the box at Whiskey Hill though right now?
I used to brew with Tim a little bit, and he made the Bitterman IPA, the Bitter Man for John. Bitter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a good shout out to John a long time.
No, it's amazing. I know that I think John, they just did a feature with John on the Brit and the Yank on a podcast, and I think so he's going to come on. I'm going to head out to his place and go on. But one of the things, without having a place, how difficult it is, and all you guys can talk about this, but how difficult is you're brewing beer, but how difficult is the distribution of what you're making?
You know what? So I've been in the bar industry for way too long, beer industry for about 16 years. My first spot was at Sheffield's Beer and Wine Garden. That was,
I love that place.
Yeah, when I was young, living in the city, I still have great buddies who have been there from 2007 or longer, who are still there. But having connections from those places forward, bring it, between me, these guys, Heather, everybody else that helps us out. It's been, there's challenges, but we're very lucky to have all of the support that we've got from these spots out here, like even Prestige, which we already talked about. And I don't want to start naming more just because I don't want to leave any out, but there's been a ton of great places supporting us. Heather's set up a large amount of tap takeovers, and every time she does, the people that we meet are great from all over. So I thought it would be difficult, but it's been smooth so far. I'm gonna knock on our wooden table
for sure. Everywhere that I delivered to has been more than open and accepting, and wanting to know more about the beer so they can promote it for us without us having to do it.
A lot of times I will get, I wish Heather was here instead of you, but that's about the greenest thing that I'll get. So it's okay.
Tell me who. I'll start a list.
Well, and Heather, how important has it been? I mean, over the last couple of years, I mean, you've got Crafted, you've got the Open Door now that's open, and you've got all these other, you got Beer and Now and everything else. How important are those kind of places to what you guys do?
Sorry.
Go
ahead, Heather.
No, big huggers. Yeah. I think they're absolutely integral to the business. I want you to start with those guys, and honestly, they were the easiest to get our account into because they, Jordan and I think for the most part, I don't want to say have a good reputation. Well, we don't have a bad reputation, but I mean, people know that what we're saying is honest and true.
Sure.
And so if someone's saying, I'm telling this is a great beer, what's the risk of taking on a case or two? And then when they see that these go quickly, they're like, okay, give me 2 or 3 more cases. And then it just kind of is like a domino effect, so for our next release of beers, I anticipate that it's going to go even bigger and better. But yeah, without naming all the accounts, I would say we have probably about 50 to 60 locations that carry us already.
That's great.
It's been great, and besides the help from the places that are carrying our product, again, like we talked about, it's great to have a little help from some friends.
Absolutely.
Like right here, you got Whiskey Hill and Foreign Exchange, and we put the names together. Like she said, anybody who trusts us, we put our name with other breweries that people trust, and it's been great. It's been amazing. So.
And that's been a big help to us, I believe, also with having Ricky and Eric both say, you know what, and I've used this kind of in a sales pitch, if you will, saying we have two big breweries that are confident in our product insofar as they're willing to put their name on it too.
Sure.
And that's a testament in the quality of product that Jordan makes. And I'm really, really excited for what's to come.
A lot of pressure.
It'll be a lot of fun,
Because because you're not brewing at your own place right now. Do you have to have like a limit as those three, and then you're working on others, or how do you go about doing that?
Really, it's kind of as we're bringing this in, we're making the money to supply the new stuff. We have a set brew schedule now that's really falling together. So Whiskey Hill has been open arms. They've been amazing. We get to kind of I'll plan, shoot emails back and forth with Eric, talk about what days we can brew. It works out really well. So we have probably 4 beers lined up to brew there in the next month.
That's great.
We actually got our first beer brewed at Noon Whistle Lombard today, which was the Reaper Repair, the double IPA that she talked about originally.
Mm-hmm.
Getting into a little groove with those guys, and who've been amazing as well. So we're shooting for a new beer to be made once a week, which will eventually have us putting out 1 or 2 new beers every week to 2 weeks. That's the goal.
All right.
Well, and I don't want you to give me any secrets or anything like that. But a lot of people are probably people that have had your beer and have been to First Forest before you guys closed. What's the future? I mean, do you have a place? You don't have to tell me where, but what are you looking? What's the future look like?
You know what? I've been looking all over, and we're really just taking our time. We want a place that's right now, I guess, just because we don't have to rush. We're just trying. I just don't want to rush into anything. So we want the venue to be interesting. We want the outside to be interesting. We want it to be we're
parking.
Parking.
Yeah.
I think all of us like live music, so we're just taking all the aspects and making sure we can fit it all in, along with just seeing kind of what direction the world is going at the moment before we jump into a big lease, to be honest. But I would say I don't want to say a date, but
that's fine.
Yeah, very soon we're going to pick our spot and anchor our feet down there for a little while.
But like Jordan said, there's no rush at the moment. I mean, product is going out. It's going very smooth.
World Cup.
And once we have like a better ground and see what the needs and supply is,
Sure.
See where to go next. We've actually had, I won't say too much, but we've actually had a couple towns come and ask us to go there.
Sure.
Kind of nice.
Sure.
Wanted,
That's been very cool. Yeah, and it's also it keeps the excitement up, and then also makes you think about that as you're trying to fall asleep.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It's funny too, because when I was out at Craft in 1979, the day they opened, and they had the mayor of Mokina out there when they opened their store. They had the mayor of Mokina, and that was wonderful. And I know that, like I said, Nik and Ivy, who sponsors the show, and Mike and I go there all the time, and they do a lot of things with the Lockport Chamber of Commerce and things like that, and they get involved with the Lockport School District and stuff like that. And I know a lot of the other breweries do too. And it's wonderful that these communities are starting to realize how important it is to have someone, because then people come to your community. They come to your town to drink the beer. And I think it's great, because I know the same thing. I'm sure that the same thing that Dylan went through building Open Door. And I know that Eric over at Orange and Brew They do so many things with the town, with the community, and that's really important when you guys open, wherever it may be.
All blew through all their beer real fast. Those guys, all the places that you mentioned are amazing. So
yeah.
Well, I think, like you said, I think that there is an ever-changing dynamic on how people view beer, right? We always beer's just Miller Lite, Coors Light, things like that. Now with craft beer, it's not just people sitting drinking; it's also people finding new friendship, and a lot of people bring families there. I know that's a taboo subject, and people, families, kids and dogs.
Families and dogs.
I'm surprised my wife and daughters aren't behind us right now, jumping up and down or something.
My daughter, my husband, and I was like, "You cannot bother me."
Yeah.
But you know what? It's changing the idea of what craft beer is. We had, especially at these last couple beer fests, we've had some people say, "You know what? I don't like beer," and I'm like, "You know what? You've already paid for your ticket. You might as well try something. Just try it. See what you like." A lot of people were pleasantly surprised about Dylan the Pilot. We had a couple people come. Oh my gosh, I love this. Where can I get it? And that was why it was important to get in a lot of these festivals too, for name recognition. And then they can go back to whoever vendor they use and say, "I need you guys to carry them." And they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, it's that nag Heather that keeps calling. I'll call her back."
It's a great, it's a great community, and it's nice. It's awesome to everybody on here. If you meet somebody and they say, "Hey, I watched that," it's like, great, let's have a beer. That's always the best part about it.
I mean, I'm a fat Czech kid, so I'm always going to go back to a Pilsner or a Quell, but everything else in the world is getting very hyper local with beer. Yeah. So the more you can get from local and people that you know and people that you've actually experienced with, the better. And that's my opinion. I've seen lots of people, if they've never heard of you, if you don't have a close friend recommending it, they're not getting it.
I think he's also losing some weight. So he's looking slim.
Well, we all lie about losing weight. I know I do. So we lie about those things.
I lie about gaining it.
So before I let you guys go, is there anything else you want to promote, mention? I know you got those beers. I know we talked about a lot of the different places, but most of your beers that are out there, Heather, we can probably find in a lot of the bottle shops in the area, correct? Out in the western burbs.
I would say as of right now, yes, most of the western suburbs have it. We're in the process of updating our website where it will have kind of a pinpoint area. Because again, like at festivals, people are like, "I live in Ravenswood. Where can I get it?" I'm like, well, I have to start going through and look, and
right. You never know. I've delivered all the way up to Crystal Lake and Barrington and all the way out to Yorkville. So if you check your local bottle shop, it might be there.
That's it. Yeah. Exactly. And that's just a testament of the people who are willing to, say, "Yeah, let's try your brand and see what happens."
Sure.
But yeah, we're updating our website, hopefully with a list and a map showing where you can find all of our stuff. And in the near couple weeks, you'll see new products from us, and we kind of stand out because of the artwork. Jordan has.
I was just gonna say, I wanted to make sure if anybody likes the artwork, it's a guy named Booker Youngblood. He works at Copper Plate Tattoo. Awesome artist, great guy. Him and a guy named Chris Schoner do all the. Booker does all the cans, the logos. Chris does some other stuff for us. Both of them are amazing. Wanted to put that out there because anybody who's trying to find this stuff, we normally have his links on all of our cans as well. Artists are awesome.
Cool. No, that's great because a lot of times when people walk into some of the bottle shops and that stuff, they get inundated with all the different beers that are there, and sometimes a label can attract them. They'll look at it because of what's on the label, like the one with Whiskey Hill and the Bohemian Breakfast. That's gonna jump out at them with all the skulls looking at them and things like that. So
it's modeled after the label. Actually,
somebody asked if he was related to the hockey player. It's Young Blutt, Blutt.
There you go. Yeah,
he does look like a hockey player. I don't know.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. I know, like I said, there's so many different breweries. I want to make sure I get as many people on here as I can on a weekly basis because a lot of people that are watching, they love their craft beer. And when I tell the story all the time, but when Mike asked me to do a show, I said, as long as I can talk craft beer too, because There may be a couple shows here and there, but I want to do it in a little bit of a different way. And it's great having you guys on. Best of luck to you. I got to go grab another beer because I'm actually almost empty.
Yeah.
But thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Heather, James, Jordan, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, my. Now I'm really thirsty after you keep talking about more beer. I don't have, I know, Mike, this is going to surprise you. I don't have a What's Up Fred's can, but I do have 3 other beer things I want to mention before we get done. St. Patrick's Day beer celebrations. Besides me and Mike and Schuster over at Game On in Homer Glen coming up on the 17th and 18th. Goldfinger Brewing, they had their cask tapping. The first Tuesday of every month, they're going to have a cask tapping. Cask is about a 5-gallon cask. It's a metal thing. And they pull the beer a couple weeks before it's ready to be poured. And you taste some of the differences in what's there. And it was very cool. They had the original lager. That was fun. They are also, if you're a fan or if you're looking for a job, okay, Goldfinger also looking for full and part-time beer tenders and servers. I was there last Saturday for their dark lager days. Was it last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago? Place was packed. Place was jumping. They did a great job taking care of everybody, getting everybody their beers, and people were having a wonderful time. The beer cellar in Geneva, Dave Hawley with his location out in Geneva. Now, I don't know if it's the one in Glen Ellen also, but I only saw Geneva, so I'm only going to promote it this way. They have a happy hour Mondays. You can still get there. You can still get there. That's right. 6 to 9:30, half off their beers. Their happy hour goes 3.5 hours on Mondays, okay, at the beer cellar in Geneva, 6 to 9:30. And one of the beers you may find is a juicy IPA. I think it's a juicy, hazy IPA that a lot of women made. And for the last several years, they've had the Pink Boot Society, a bunch of the women that are in the brewing industry that put together a beer trying to extend and continue the education of women in brewing. And they have a beer out now called Cosmic Nunchucks. I was unable to get any, but I'm going to try and grab some. I'm sure you can get some at your tap rooms and some of your bottle shops. But Cosmic Nunchucks, it is a hazy IPA. Go and grab it, and it all goes towards helping get more women involved in the brewing society. We had Heather on. I've talked so much about Emily Slayton from Skeleton Key. They're getting ready to open their whole place in a couple of weeks. They've got their tanks back in after the tornado they had last Father's Day. So I cannot wait. Vicky Reed and all the people over there. So if you get a chance, go and grab that. There are also 2 breweries in the city. Hopewell is one of them that is doing a traditional Kolsch beer style service. Now, I've said numerous times, and I'm going to Germany again next year, next March, on a cruise. I'm going to stop in Cologne, Germany. Cologne, Germany is known for Kolsch beer. They will tell you around the world, Kolsch can only be made in Cologne, Germany. You can have a Kolsch style beer. So at Hopewell Brewing in the city, and one other brewery, they didn't list it, which is weird, but they're doing Kolsch service. Now, when you're in Cologne, Germany, they give you a beer, and until you put the coaster on top of the beer, they just keep bringing you another one. Perfect for me and Mike, okay? Perfect for me and Fat Mike. We may have to run up to Hopewell one of these days. So they just keep bringing you the beer until you say, that's it, I'm done, I've had enough. And I experienced that in Germany in 2006 when I was there for the World Cup. It was wonderful. The beer was great, and they just kept bringing them. Absolutely kept bringing them. So they're doing it at Hopewell in the city. I know that's up near Beguile. I got to get up there soon. Hopefully I can make it when it gets a little warmer. We'll get on up there, hit Microphone and a bunch of other places over the next several months. So next week, I'm going to have on Mario Spina from 93 Octane Brewing out in St. Charles. It's a Pride Store gas station and a Taco Urbano food place and a liquor store and a brewery. We'll talk a lot about that next week. We have him on. I'm going to run out there on Thursday, grab a few beers, bring them back, and I'll enjoy them during the show on Monday. Hope you guys all come back. And don't forget Mike's show on Wednesday. We got Mike Hughes that does the shows, David Schuster. We've got Harry on Fridays, all kinds of different shows here on the 1252 Sports Network. And you can see them on our Facebook pages, on YouTube, on Twitch. You can always hear the audio on Spotify. If you missed a show, if I talked to one of the guys from the brewery a couple weeks ago that you missed, you can go back and find it on Spotify and on YouTube. So I'm all out. I got to go fill up. Thanks for jumping on in. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Fat Mike for talking sports with me. And thanks to James, Jordan, and Heather from First Forest Brewing. I'll keep you up to date on the podcast when they're going to get to their place eventually when they open it up. Otherwise, find their beer at the tap rooms. Drink their beer. Dylan the Pilot's great. The breakfast beer, the Bohemian Breakfast is wonderful. Check them all out. Thanks. Be back again next week. Enjoy yourself. Have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you for listening to 1252 Sports Chicago.